Thomas, lawyer and co-founder at Porta Law, and I'm talking about overtime. What is it and how should it be paid? Overtime is a tricky but really important concept to understand in a workplace. Employees who work overtime will earn significantly more during those hours than their regular rates, and employers who mismanage, fail to pay overtime properly, may be liable for large amounts at the Employment Standards Branch if a complaint is lodged against them. So long story short, overtime must be paid to employees who work more than 8 hours in a day or more than 40 hours in a week. So as an example, an employee can work 10 hours each on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and all the hours they work over 8 hours on those days is overtime. Then, for example, they work only 3 hours on Friday. All 3 hours must be paid out as overtime because those are hours number 41, 42, and 43. So any work over 8 hours is paid out as time and a half, and any work over 12 hours is double time. So normally, overtime should be recorded and paid out contemporaneously, so with each paycheck. Things happen in the workplace. People are busy, businesses are chaotic sometimes, and employees aren't paid out overtime as they earn them. So they can be banked overtime hours, but only by consent with the employee and the employer consenting in writing. There are some exceptions to overtime. So there are some entire professions that are completely exempt from the Employment Standards Act that sets out the minimum standards in BC, including overtime. So professions like doctors and architects, for example, are completely exempt from the Employment Standards Act. So they're exempt from overtime. And then there's some other types of jobs that are exempt specifically from the overtime rules in the Employment Standards Act. So that would include jobs like high-tech workers and also managers. These have very specific definitions in the law, so it's really important to know and understand if your employee is truly a manager or if they're truly a high-tech worker and exempt from overtime. My recommendation would be to speak to a lawyer when you're withholding or wanting to withhold overtime from an employee to make sure that you're not offside the law and potentially liable later for high awards at the Employment Standards Branch. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave your messages below.